For those that don't know, I have a very special guest on today's show. My name is Max, of course. Welcome to Sonic Dorms. I've got the one and only, a legend in my book, the one and only Doug Pinnick of
Hey.
King's X, one of my all-time favorite bands.
Oh,
The to me deserves so many more accolades than they already have received throughout what 40 plus career now.
yeah, 42 years.
Look at that. So congratulations and thank you again for helping add credibility to what I've been building here through a
Uh,
grassroots method here on Sonic Dorms. It means the world to me. You really are a guest of
awesome.
honor. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
So I'll start off by saying you've got album number 13 coming down the pipes this Friday. That's the incredible new album, Three Sides of One, which what I've heard from it is just absolutely incredible from every standpoint, whether that be the production, the songwriting, the lyrical content. Where did this begin for you as far as the journey into this record?
Oh, I've been writing for the last 14 years and doing a lot of side projects at the same time. Just continually doing what I do. And the other guys, Ty and Jerry, they just didn't want to make a King's X record till we felt we had the songs and the material and the attitude and the whole, we felt right about making a record that we could present to the people that we could be proud of. And so, it took about 14 years for everybody to get that confidence up. With King's X's, we put a lot of pressure on ourselves uh, because of what we have done and what people have said. So, we want to keep giving people the music that they complimented us on and told us about that they love. So this time we just didn't want to put out a just another record, but we really wanted to make it something that we were proud to offer to the people that love King's X.
Yeah, I can tell what I love about this record is it feels like a labor of love. Like a lot of the albums in the King's X catalog, to me, it could take a couple of years or so, but it truly does feel like there was a lot of effort put into every factor of the record. So it feels like a record that you can go back to over periods of time and find
Yeah,
something new out of it. You get it, and to me, it's rare. It's becoming more and more rare to find albums being made with such love and dedication, where people can spend years working on them and perfecting them and actually creating substantial pieces of work. But it sounds
yeah.
to me like you've delivered that here with the new album.
I want to believe that. I'll let you guys tell me that stuff, but it's good to hear that people and you especially feel that, So I mean, because that's what we're trying to do, and it's always good to hear that feedback.
One of the things I like, if you don't mind doing this with me, one of
Sure.
the first things I like with first time guests on Sonic Dorms is the origin story, the influences, all the things that made you fall in love with music in the first place. If you wouldn't mind sharing a little bit about why you fell in love with music at an early
Oh,
age.
yeah. I've loved music since the time I could remember. My mom said that I was singing before I could talk, and I would cry when she turned the record player off. And she said that she kind of wondered what I was going to turn out to be. She said that's the only thing she's ever said to me about me when it comes to wondering what I was going to be when I grow up. She just thought, he's a little odd. And and it just seems like every time I did anything, people wanted me to sing as a little kid. Sing for us, Doug. Sing this song, sing that song in church, in school. It didn't matter. And I just did it all the time. And music was such a big deal to me. I was 24 when I first started playing bass. I didn't play hardly anything before that. I bang on a piano, at school and stuff, trying to make chords and make sense of things. And I played sax for like 9 months in seventh grade. And so I got an idea of music. I learned to read by playing saxophone. So I understood, the basics of music and being in choirs in school and stuff like that. So I learned the basic theory of music, but the rest of it was just I just made music and played music. I played more music than I played more records than I played. You know what I'm saying? It was like I would sit for hours and hours in front of a record player as long as I can remember as a person. When everyone else wanted to go out and play, or there was something going on, I was sitting in front of the stereo. I'd go do what you do. I was just, it was a, almost an artistic obsession. It seemed like, it's like that's all I dreamed and thought about was music. It gave me goosebumps. It was exciting. It was new. Um, it just, everything else went out the window except music in my life. That was the most important thing. Relationships, friends, going out and partying, doing things. It's just, I wasn't into it.
Music is the great healer in my personal and humble opinion. It seems like it did the same thing for you early on. It really was
Yeah,
like a safe haven for you as a human being to just always feel comfort in listening to your favorite records.
yeah, that's true.
Is there a particular singer? I've always loved your voice throughout the course of your career on record and live. You always, if anything, you excel live in comparison to the studio recordings. But who are the singers that for you early on you looked at and said, "This is my model. This is what I would like to model my voice on"? Or
Yeah, well, there was a lady named Mavis Staples from the
uh,
Staple Singers. She's the first one I think that gave me goosebumps. Even as a child, the way she sang was so emotional. And she was only 16 at the time when I heard her, when I was a little kid at the time. Um, and then after that, well, I remember Mahalia Jackson. There was this song called Move On Up a Little Higher. It was an old 78 record, had a green label, and my grandma used to play it. And I just loved the way the lady sang. Now, Mahalia Jackson was the first Black gospel singer that ever recorded music. So basically, a whole Black community was listening to one record. So we were all listening to her. And then there was Ray Charles. He pops in. And I think those people gave my community a voice, and everybody started to emulate them. And so we just started emulating each other at that point. And I think that's why we all kind of, that whole gospel soul kind of vibe sounds the same, because we're all just copying those people. Even Aretha Franklin, who is one of my favorite singers, and Stevie Wonder. I played their records over and over again and tried to mimic them exactly the way they sang. I was so into the way they sang. So those are basically the singers that really made me sing.
there's the harmonies of in King's X's music, which I think is very distinct in the sound that you provide. Where did that come from? That idea of creating these harmonies, these lush harmonies in your songwritings.
I think that Jerry and Ty both love harmonies because they love the Beatles, and they bring harmonies to the songs. And my contribution to these harmonies are growing up in school, choir, show tunes, uh, uh, church choir, uh, uh, musicals, everything that had anything to do with vocals, I was in. I was in the madrigals in high school, which is a group taken out of the whole chorus section. They take 10 people who were supposedly the best singers and put them in a little group, and they would sing all over the place, and we'd win contests. And I was always in those. They're the madrigals, I think they call it. So I was just, because I could sing and I had a gift, somebody was always dragging me to go do something. It's always been that way, even to this day. I'm still, someone's going, "Hey, what you got for me?" So I've been blessed when it comes to always having a direction in my life.
Did you early on have a feeling that you were going to be in a rock type band, or was that
No,
something not that wasn't part of your map?
no, I was going to be a commercial, a modern dancer. That's what I was in high school. All I did was dance. I get stood in the mirror and I did my thing. And like the Black community back in the '60s, all we did was dance. That was our thing at the time. There was no drugs, there was no weed, and all that kind of stuff. This is the early or middle '60s, so we were just dancing was my drug, and that's what I wanted to do. So I never thought about that. Um, uh, And one day, I think I was about 18. We were just about getting ready to graduate from high school, and my best friend says, "Dude, I got this band I'm putting together. I want you to sing in it." And I said, "I can't sing." Can you believe that? But I did. I said that to him. I said, "I can't sing." And he goes, "No, you can sing. Come on." So I went over and I grabbed the mic and started singing, and I never looked back. It was like, okay. I'd start singing it with the band, and from that point on, in the town I lived in, which was Joliet, Illinois, it's outside of Chicago, I became that guy that could sing. There wasn't too many singers in town, so it seemed like everywhere I turned, I could start a band or join a band or break up a band. Hey, want to play with me? Sure. I never had a problem with rejection when it came to that. I don't think there was anybody out there that was singing, basically, in my neighborhood. So I was lucky with that. I've always been blessed with that. Somehow I'm like, picked out of the crowd. And what it does for me is just gives me permission to keep doing what I do.
What I like about the music of King's X and where that evolved is you can't really put it in one box. I think that there's various types of sounds that you guys delve into, and your voice is elastic, and I think it could fit into multiple genres of music. I think that's the key here, and I think that's really pardon the pun here, but I think that's the X factor, and what the King's X thing is about is the fact that there's all these different things that you can channel, and I think that your voice allows that to happen. I think even more so because it can fit into all areas of music in a way.
Thank you. And Dionne Warwick was the singer that really inspired me to mix the genres together because she sang all these songs that Burt Bacharach wrote. Do you know the way to San Jose and all those songs, those big hits. But she was a black chick who had a super soulful voice. And this is a white guy writing these perfect pop tunes for basically, the white generation. And somehow she could bridge the two. She gave it just enough soul to not overdo it. And just enough to not just sound like there was no emotion. And I was always impressed by that. It's like she could sing anything. And I think it was inspiration in some ways in the back of my mind because growing up listening to show tunes, and stuff like that, I could sing like the white choir boy, straight up, la, 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 all that stuff. And then I can turn on the soul thing because I learned that in the black community, going to a black gospel church and listening to soul music. So, it's just different styles I learned. Um, I never think about those styles as much as I just try to incorporate them into whatever the song is that I'm writing. I don't sit down and go, well, I think I'm going to do this. But then on some songs like Born to Be Loved, where we go, I can shout from a rooftop how I really feel. That's a cluster chord. That's the way the Anders sisters used to sing in the 30s, and I purposely did that. Or the ooh song where we go, ooh, it's a cluster chord. It's three notes that are smashed together. It's not a harmony. It's the three dissonant notes are not supposed to work. And when I learned that in my music theory class, they call it a cluster chord where you take all eight notes and you press them down on the piano. And if you press all eight notes down, there's a tone it gives you. And you can't put it in a key. It's a dissonant tone, but it works. So I tried that on a couple vocals things. It's hard to do live for sure, but I love doing those kind of things. With vocals. And the Beatles, we always talk about the Beatles and King's X because Ty and Jerry, that's their favorite band. And for me, I wasn't a Beatle fan as much as I just heard their music so much and their harmonies were so interesting that they stayed in the back of my head. So I use Beatle harmonies all the time in the back of my mind when I sing. So it's a combination of all of that. And Ty and Jerry also have their own that they bring. Ty loves to do harmonies. Ty doesn't like 3-part harmonies. He likes 2-part harmonies. He likes to take the middle out so that it gives you an audio illusion. that there's more, but it's only two notes. And I'm more the guy that does 3 to 4 or 5 part. I want the big chorus. So between the two of us, we go back and forth on parts. And I think that maybe gives a little variety in the music that we make also.
It's incredible. And now going into lyrics, lyrical content, how important is lyrical content to you as a songwriter, even to this day? Because I get the impression that you've always considered, you've really put a lot of thought into your words and what you're trying to express in the songs that you guys are writing. Is that true?
Lyrics are important to me, but what's more important to me is the structure of the melody. Because it doesn't matter what you say, if you can sing it right, everybody's going to listen, and I don't forget that. um uh but lyrics and melodies are the last thing I think of when I write a song. The song's done, then I go, okay, now I got to sing on this. What am I going to do? I can either make it or ruin it, and so I go with that standpoint of, and sometimes, a song will sit for a month or a year before I come up with the right melody or the right lyrics. Sometimes I ride in my car with my demos going with just music, and I'll be riding down the road, and all of a sudden, bam, a line comes in my head, and I'll sing along. Go, oh, get home! Okay, this is it. You got it. I just let the muse bring it to me when it's supposed to.
Yeah, because there's people with tons of approaches, whether it's they lock themselves up in a room
Hmm.
for days and they force it out, and then there's people that just let it flow naturally. It sounds to me like you're of the latter type, that you let
Yeah,
it just come
because
to you.
yeah, I let it come to me because when I try to force it, it's so excruciating to sit there and not come up with anything, and start feeling that whole insecure feeling like I can't do this. I don't know what I'm doing. I've got nothing to say. Oh no, oh no, I got to do this. I just go, well, walk away from it. It'll come to you later. There's other people that I know, like Jimmy Hazel from 24/7 Spies, or even Ty in King's X. Those guys can come up with lyrics that quick. It's like, got a line for me? Blah, 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 blah. And I go, how do you do that? And they go, easy. But for me, I guess, there's so much goes on in my mind. The voices in my head, they never stop. They're screaming all the time. And so it takes me a while to sort all the voices out to make sense of what I'm trying to think, and make it coherent to someone else. Because sometimes if you could get inside my mind, there's so many scenarios going at the same time that you get confused. You'd think, well, he's dealing with this, and this, and you want to fix it, but it's only a scenario that I'm using to compare something else that I'm dealing with and I'm going through, and all this stuff is going through my mind. So I spew it out in lyrics, and a lot of times it's misunderstood, and I'm okay with that, because it's just thoughts and images that are in my mind. I put words to them, and all of a sudden they sound like they're absolute, but they really aren't. And that kind of confuses people. But I don't know how else to do it. It's my art.
So for you, writing these words is a form of therapy, then I
Oh
take it.
yeah. Yeah, I feel like I have to say something that matters, even if it's shallow and isn't life changing. It's got to have something that makes you think or react, in some kind of a way. That's what I feel about art. When you make art, you want people to react to it. You just don't want to make it to sit there.
I can relate in that, for me, like someone who deals with anxiety and depression and
Mhm.
all their lives and all my life, and I've found niches to
Me
help
too.
sort it out, whether it be
Uh-huh.
writing poetry, if you want to call it that, or finding
Hmm.
ways to just get it out of your system. And to me, once that's done, it's just this huge wave of relief, because
Yeah.
it's just, I don't know what it is. Some people are just born that way, I guess. The overthinkers and the people that are just
Hmm.
that feel a little bit more strongly than other people do, as far as like
Yeah.
reading a room, energies and whatnot. I
Hmm.
don't want to get too into it, but
We're called empaths, and some of us are IMFJs, and that is the whole extreme. And if you feel that, then you get it. You understand. It's like you can almost feel the wall in the room. You go outside and you feel so much. You go into a crowd, and it's like you feel people's emotions and feelings, and you look at their faces, and you see so much coming out of them, and then you have to look at it and go, is this, do I take this in, or can I block this out? Is this about me, or is this only about them and I have nothing to do with it? And it's a constant battle, and it does cause you to be depressed because you're feeling other people's emotions.
Yeah,
It's
so
taken me 72 years to get a handle on, and I'm still learning.
it's nice to know. I mean, to me, that's inspiring to just hear that
Good.
from you, because I think it's important to let people know that do struggle with such things, that there is an awareness out there, and that
Hmm.
we're not alone, right? So there is,
Right.
you just got to find ways to keep sharp and not let things bog you down for too long, and find
Right.
various outlets, whatever makes you
Yeah.
happy, really, that's not going to impact you in a negative way, whether that be with diet.
Hmm.
Like, to me, diet's very important. I know
Yeah.
that for you, diet's very important. I mean, I can see
Yeah.
you've kept yourself in great shape over the years.
Yeah.
I think that's a
Yeah.
huge part of it for you, right? It's all about keeping the
It
best
is.
mental outlook for yourself.
Yeah. For me, it's like I want to be as healthy as I can possibly be till I die. I don't want to live forever. It's going to end sooner or later, but I just don't want to end live in my next 20, 30 years, which is probably all I've got left, in a wheelchair or a walker, or sitting there miserable because I don't feel good. I want to be able to bounce off the walls like I do now. I always say if I can't run up a flight of stairs, it's over. And I run up a flight of stairs. Every time I go upstairs, I run. And when I get to the top, there's no fast heartbeat or nothing like that. So I'm going, you're good. Because I know other people can't even do that.
Have you always been that way, self motivated, to
Yeah.
keep yourself in shape and make and throughout the course of your life? Yeah.
Yeah, since when I was 21, I learned that salt and sugar was bad for you. That's 1971, so that's all we knew about the bad things of nutrition. And so I cut back on the sugar and the salt, and through the years, and organic. We were always talking about organic is supposed to be so much better. So I grew a garden, and my roommates, we used to just learned about that stuff. And through the years, I kept learning more and more, to the point now where, I'm an encyclopedia, and people go, well, what do you do? How do you do it? And I'm going, dude, it's a lifetime of thought. I can't just say do this and it's going to be okay. It's like I've been doing this my whole life. I do push-ups and sit-ups every day since I was when I was around 40 is when I started doing push-ups and sit-ups every day, just every day. And I still do every day. I get up and I put on a disco record, some song that's 5 minutes long, where you just go like "You Spin Me Around" by Dead or
Dead or
Alive.
alive. Yeah.
And I just go, you spin me around, and I just do that the whole song, get my heart up, then I start the day, and I do it every day.
It's work magic, because, like, obviously, like, it's definitely paid off, and I feel like that it really does affect every facet of your being, including
It
your
does.
voice.
It does, and people's attitude towards you. When you're alive and you're bouncing off the walls and you've got this energy coming at you, people are attracted to it, and people want to be that way because positivity is infectious. And I try in a negative world, and in all the negative thoughts that I have, I try to combat them with positive, just positivity, and even not even go to places like, because depression, I used to think about all the things that made me depressed, and I had a lot of things to make me feel depressed, but I didn't realize I was just naturally depressed. And when I got over all the things and dealt with all these things, I'm going, well, why do you feel like shit still? And I realized, oh, it's the chemicals. Well, I need to eat this, and this herb, and do this and that. And I smoke a lot of weed, and I just do what I can to keep myself in a state that's above the above the water. And there's people in my life that come into that, those narcissistic people that want to sabotage your goodness or your joy or the things that's happening, and they'll question, it's like, how you feeling today? I'm feeling great. Well, how come you're feeling great when everybody else is feeling bad? How can you just skirt through life like that? And I look up and go, I'm not going to take that. I'm not going to take that shame and gaslighting and make me feel like I've done something wrong. I go, no, you're jealous. And that's the way it is. I'm not going to let that bother me. And I'm not going to say that to you either. I'm just going to smile and keep on going. And that's a part of my philosophy in my old age is just right over it because it ain't going to stop.
You're an inspiration, Doug. I really appreciate you sharing that.
Cool.
Yeah,
You're
absolutely.
awesome.
No, man. Sorry. So just to flash forward now, what can you say is the statement that you have made with the latest King's X record? Like in the pantheon of albums throughout the course of your career, where does
Hmm.
this hold up for you? I know it's just coming out this Friday,
Hmm.
but for you personally, what has this album done for you and where does it stack up for you on a personal level?
For me, it's an album by a 72-year-old man. And I'm pretty proud of it at this point because I can't say too many people are doing that.
It's incredible because again, quality music. I'm a huge believer in creativity, and for you to still be maintaining that creativity and not relying on nostalgia, not going back and just playing the catalog and the songs that people know you for. It's just literally forward momentum, always progressing, evolving as an artist. To me, that's why artists make music or should be making music is to move forward. And
True.
I don't have any sort of judgment towards those that view the other side of it and playing.
Yeah.
But for me personally, I have a preference towards the artist such as yourself who continue to develop and create for as long as they live. And to me, it's important to celebrate a new King's X album in
Thanks.
2022. Honestly,
Awesome. Thank you, man. It's awesome.
yeah,
It's good talking to you, man.
I appreciate that. Really, really quick, just because I'm a huge fan of these trilogy
Hmm.
of records. KXM. I'm a huge fan of
Uh-huh.
KXM. Will there be a fourth KXM record?
Yeah, we're talking about it. Nothing's happening yet, but we're talking about it. Ray is going to have to find some time to get away from Corn. And George, biggest problem right now with George is he's got so many side projects and solo things going that the record company is going, dude, we want a new KXM, but we got to get George's the rest of this stuff out. It's piling up on George, so we're trying to figure that out right now.
All right, can't wait for that. And any tour dates coming up as far as that people can be aware of for King's X?
No, no, you just check the King's X website and see what's up because at the moment there's not a whole lot going on.
Gotcha, gotcha. Well, I hope to catch a date. I'm in the Orlando, Florida area. Maybe I can
Oh,
catch
you're down
a
in Florida. Okay, I
yeah.
hope so too. We don't play Orlando too often anymore. We used to play the House of Blues down there a lot, but we haven't found any gigs there lately.
Well, if you come down, I'll be more than happy to catch a show. It'd be fantastic, especially with this new
Awesome,
record and these new songs. But again, Doug, thank you for your time. I can't wait to purchase a physical because I believe in physical product CD
awesome, Max.
of because I
Thanks.
still love CDs of the new record. And all the best to you and the future. And thank you again for your time and for adding credibility to what I've been trying to build here with an all talk music platform, Sonic Dorm. So all the best to you, Doug.
Awesome, awesome. I'd like to stay in touch with you too. You seem like a kindred spirit.
All right, we'll do. Thank you so much. And until next
I,
time.
I, peace.